Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Rob Bonta, California Attorney General. I want to say thank you to my colleagues and leaders who have joined today. LA County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath, you'll be hearing from everyone shortly. LA County Sheriff Robert Luna, Los Angeles Police Department Chief Jim McDonnell, Senator Sasha Renee Perez, and Assemblymember Pilar Chavo. We're proud to stand united in this difficult moment for California, for Los Angeles County, for the city of Los Angeles, as fires continue to ravage Los Angeles County. Keeping Angelenos safe is an all-hands-on-deck priority and requires us to team up, partner, work together. Local, state, and federal officials are working in close coordination to get these deadly fires under control and to protect Californians and protect our communities. I'm here today to talk to impacted families, which I'll be doing after this gathering, meet with firefighters and first responders and law enforcement, and share important messages about how to stay safe during this emergency. I want to begin by first expressing my most heartfelt condolences to those who have lost loved ones in this terrible disaster and tragedy, as well as my sincere sympathies to those who have lost homes, treasured belongings, suffered health problems, or otherwise had to evacuate and be displaced. Our hearts are with you. We're thinking about you. We care about you, and we'll be doing everything we can to help the long process to heal and recover be successful. This hits close to home, of course, both as a Californian, but also as many of my own employees at the California Department of Justice have lost their homes, have been forced to evacuate, have helped loved ones evacuate. I also have a daughter here in Los Angeles County who I've been in very close contact with, making sure that she's safe and following all the orders and directives. Please know that state and local officials, our courageous first responders, and my team at DOJ and I are here to support you throughout this difficult time. And there are many trusted nonprofits and charities there as well. You are not alone. There is a great deal of support. Unfortunately, we've seen before that emergencies like this, in addition to bringing out the best in so many, also bring out bad actors who seek to use the trauma, the chaos of moments like this for their own gain. They see an opportunity to prey and take advantage. They take advantage of vulnerable and hurting families to make a quick buck, unfortunately. We've seen that before, so it's important for us to be prepared now. We've seen businesses and landlords that use increased demand during emergencies to jack up the price of essential supplies and services, of gas and water, batteries, first aid supplies, construction materials, and housing, including hotels and including short-term rentals. It's called price gouging. And during a state of emergency like there is currently in effect in Ventura County and Los Angeles County, it is illegal. You cannot do it. It's unlawful. It is a crime, punishable by up to a year in jail and $10,000 fines. California law prohibits a business from charging more than 10% more for a good or service than they did before the emergency. So prices should only be going up 10% or less, not more. If a business only began selling the item after the emergency declaration, they can't charge more than 50% of the cost of the item. This is California law. It's in place to protect those who are suffering from a tragedy, to make sure that they are not victimized again and exploited as they are trying to recover. My office issued a consumer alert earlier this week about price gouging that has more details about the law. Bottom line, be on the lookout for illegally jacked up prices if you see something. If you know someone who's been the victim of price gouging, please report it to local authorities or my office at oag.ca.gov/report right away. We can take it from there. And I just want to put a special point on this. We are talking about people who have lost loved ones, whose homes have perished in the fires, who have lost treasured belongings, whose lives have been turned upside down, who are struggling and suffering. They're looking for housing. They're looking for essential goods to keep their lives moving. The last thing they need is for someone to victimize them again, exploit them, and take advantage of them and harm them through price gouging. They need the opposite. They need some people who are giving them care and support and looking after them and valuing them and helping them. So this is not who we are. We should not be engaged in price gouging, whether it's groceries or rent. We are very serious about this, and the governor's office as well is very focused on this. We are working at the highest levels in the governor's office on ensuring that there is no price gouging and that anyone engaged in it is held accountable. So I want to make two points about this as well. Some of our hotels and some of our landlords use algorithms based on demand and supply to set their prices. If those algorithms lead to prices higher after the declaration of emergency than before by more than 10%, you're violating the law. You need to figure out how to adjust your prices consistent with the law, and if that means departing from your algorithm, depart from your algorithm. If you're a mom and pop and you're not aware of these laws, you're now aware of these laws. Ignorance is not an excuse. Not understanding what the law is not an excuse. That's why I'm telling you. So it's important that the victims of these fires be treated with respect and dignity and fairness. Price gouging is illegal. We will not stand for it. We will hold you accountable. We will prosecute as appropriate. On top of price gouging, in times like this, we see scam artists taking the opportunity to take advantage of the vulnerable, unsuspecting, well-meaning folks in need, folks who are desperate. Be on the lookout for scammers who create fake organizations, masquerading as charities and nonprofits or who use crowdfunding sites to falsely claim that they're raising funds for victims. We have people with big hearts who want to help. They want to donate. They want to support the victims. We also see scammers who are taking advantage of that goodness and that generosity and scamming and defrauding those individuals. We've seen scams that have gone after elderly individuals, immigrants, others, including those who don't speak English as their first language. Some even create fraudulent organizations with names that sound eerily legitimate and are easy to fall for, like American Red Cross of California. Sounds good, sounds legitimate, sounds official. It's not. It sounds like the Red Cross we all know and trust, but that was actually the name of a now defunct organization that the DOJ ordered to cease and desist back in 2019 for misleading donors. It tried to use the good branding and goodwill that the Red Cross, the real Red Cross, had to create this scam. Scams come in many forms. They're often creative, confusing, persuasive. They can come by text. They can come by phone calls, email, social media, and crowdfunding sites or in person. So here are a couple of key scams to look out for in the wake of this type of disaster. The first is a contractor scam. This is where someone pretending to be a contractor tries to pressure homeowners into putting down a deposit fee to, quote, hold their spot and guarantee construction that may never occur. Scammers might also pretend to be insurance adjusters, demanding payment for filing a claim or seeking personal identifying information. They may pose as a government official or relief organization like FEMA, fire restoration, or an insurance company asking for, again, personal information or demanding a fee for services that are actually free. There is no fee for government services like these at these times. There are 5 important ways you can stay vigilant and protect yourself from scams like this. Verify credentials. Don't be afraid. And I encourage you to check licenses, certifications, reviews for contractors, adjusters, charities. Make sure that who you're dealing with is legitimate. Be skeptical of demands for upfront payments. That's a red flag. If they're saying they're going to help you but they need a significant upfront payment, be suspicious. Confirm authenticity through official channels. I always encourage you to go to official government sites, including our own, DOJ's website. We have a registry search tool there where you can confirm that charities are legitimate, that you are thinking about donating to. That's at oag.ca.gov/charities. Monitor your bank accounts to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of and defrauded. Report fraud immediately to local law enforcement or to my office at oag.ca.gov. We want to do our part to help to stop the fraud and help any other victims from becoming victims. Finally, we've seen reports of looting. There's no way around it. Looting is wrong. Looting is unlawful. The idea of going into a disaster area to take advantage of the people who have been forced to evacuate and stealing their property is unimaginable. And it's happening. Don't do it. It's illegal. It's also dangerous and interferes with our first responders who are doing important work and can divert critical and limited resources. So to anyone who would go out and take advantage of this tragedy for their greedy gain, who would further victimize people who have potentially lost everything, who are already victims, who would look at this devastation and see dollar signs, I have a message for you. You will be held accountable. My office will be engaged to hold you accountable. As I close, I want to take a moment to thank our firefighters, law enforcement, first responders, the Cal Guard service members who are on the ground, saving lives, helping people through this tragic time. Thank you to all of you for what you've done, what you are doing, what you will do. They're heroes, and they deserve our unending support. Under California law, reserve firefighters, police officers, and rescue personnel have the right to take leave from work to help respond to the fires, as do National Guard, who are called to state active duty. I encourage employers across the state to support employees who are selfless enough to put their lives on the line to serve and save our communities. I urge everyone in the greater LA area to please pay attention to official alerts, red flag warnings, and evacuation orders that will keep you safe. Please monitor trusted and official resources like Los Angeles County, LA County Sheriff, and LA Police Department, social media channels, the California Office of Emergency Services, and California Fire social media channels and websites as well. Again, go to the official sites. Our law enforcement officials and first responders' top priority is your safety. So when you hear that siren or get the mandatory evacuation notice, please comply. Please comply immediately. And don't wait until the last minute. If you think you might need to leave, pack a bag and collect your things now so you're ready if the time comes. There are many things in your home that are very valuable to you, and I understand that. But nearly everything in your home is replaceable. You are not. Your family is not. Keep yourself and your loved ones and your family safe. Finally, I want to remind our immigrant communities that they are welcome at shelters, regardless of immigration status. My office has put out guidance and model policies to assist California shelters and ensure they do their part to protect the rights of immigrants and their families. This guidance can be found at our website at oag.ca.gov/resources. I want to end with this. Californians are resilient. California is strong. We are strong, especially when, as now, we stand united. We will get through this. LA will get through this together, and we will rebuild and we will heal. California DOJ is here, ready, willing, able to support Angelenos and local law enforcement and local officials in any and every way we can. We are at your service. I will come back at the end to answer questions if there are any, but for now, please allow me to welcome Supervisor Horvath to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. Thank you for your strong leadership. The partnership of the Attorney General's office and the unwavering support that he personally offers during such a critical and devastating time for Los Angeles County is invaluable. Your leadership in protecting our communities from exploitation is essential as we navigate the challenges posed by these devastating windstorms and fires. Yesterday, I visited the Westwood Recreation Center, one of our evacuation centers scattered throughout the 3rd District, where I witnessed both immense loss and the strength and resilience of our community. I spoke with families who have lost everything, their homes, their cherished memories, and who are facing an uncertain future. Unfortunately, even in these times of crisis, There are those who would seek to take advantage of vulnerable people, and this is absolutely unacceptable. We have received troubling reports of price gouging, particularly in the rental market. In some cases, right here in my own district, listing agents are raising rents on the spot, preying on families who have been displaced, many of whom have lost their homes or don't even know what the current status of their home is. While they are sitting in uncertainty in the face of unthinkable tragedy, these people are preying on those who desperately need shelter and support at a time like this. Let me be clear. This is price gouging, and it is absolutely unacceptable. If you have experienced or witnessed price gouging, as you have heard, please report it immediately at oag.ca.gov/report or contact your local police department or sheriff's office. These laws exist to protect our communities, and we must be sure that they are enforced. We heard at this morning's press conference of an issue with GoFundMe, and we're already actively working with them to address the recent scams that have cropped up since the start of the fires. We've received reports of individuals re-entering mandatory evacuation zones to take advantage of disaster situations. This will not be tolerated. Law enforcement is actively addressing these incidents to ensure safety and security of our communities. While people are sitting waiting to get back to their homes, they should not be waiting with the fear of uncertainty that people are preying on these spaces. While we understand the deep frustration and deep desire to check on your homes and belongings, re-entering these areas poses significant risks for public safety and ongoing emergency operations. Please honor the evacuation orders. They are in place to protect everyone. I was personally out with the assistance of CAL FIRE and LA County Fire yesterday. There are downed power lines. There are light posts that have been bent over streets. It is unsafe for people to be in these areas, and we're working to make it safe. But please allow us the opportunity before you come back into these spaces. Anyone who doesn't will be arrested and prosecuted. We have help and support for one another, and we must not further victimize or traumatize people who are already enduring so much. Please follow all instructions for mandatory evacuation zones. You can go to emergency.lacounty.gov for the latest updates. And we know in times like these, it is essential that we hold true to the values that make Los Angeles County strong: compassion, care, and community. Many of our neighbors have lost everything. Let's be there for one another, hold space for one another, support one another, and show the resilience and unity that must carry us through these challenging times. Thank you once again, Attorney General Bonta, to Sheriff Luna, to Chief McDonnell, and all of our officials and state partners standing with us during this time. All of us together, we will overcome this crisis and begin the process of recovery and rebuilding. And I'd now like to introduce Sheriff Robert Luna.
Thank you, Supervisor. And on behalf of all the residents of Los Angeles County, specifically the over 150,000 that have been under evacuation orders, I'd like to thank the Attorney General for holding this presser today and emphasizing the fact that if anybody is going to try and take advantage of any of our residents, specifically those who have tragically had significant loss, we're not going to tolerate it. Whether it's at the local law enforcement level through the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department or the Attorney General, and he spoke for a while about the different scams, whether it involves burglary and looting, we're not going to tolerate it. Last night I received a call from the U.S. Attorney General, Martin Estrada. He is very interested in getting any case that we have that involves any of these type of incidences, and he pledged that the federal government would also be assisting us in any investigation or prosecutions at all. It's been well stated that the local district attorney, Nathan Hochman, is also fully engaged in this. What I'm trying to send is, you're out there, you're trying to take advantage of somebody, you're burglarizing in one of these evacuation areas, you're trying to scam somebody, we're going to get you. And I want to make it clear, and I said it this morning, that every arrest that we're making specifically for curfew violations, and we made a couple of those last night in the curfew area or the affected area, I have directed our deputies that those individuals will not be cited and released for misdemeanors. They're going to do jail time. And that's the message I'm sending out there, that if you're involved in this time of crisis and you're trying to hurt people, it's not going to go very well. I do want to reemphasize that we do have a curfew in the impacted areas that starts at 6 p.m. at night and goes through 6 a.m. Please stay out of those areas if you are not an emergency worker. We have very strict, not only the warnings, but the mandates that have gone out for the orders to make sure that we're not allowing people back in there. We're getting a lot of calls and saying, hey, I need this or I need that. You cannot go into these areas. And it's not just because we're trying to inconvenience you. They're actually still dangerous. It's been described here with down lines, open gas lines, and things of that nature. So we will continue to do that. I would like to thank the governor. We have 400 California National Guardsmen that are helping in the Los Angeles County area, the city of Los Angeles, Pasadena, Santa Monica, and a couple of other communities within our affected area. With that, I am going to turn it over to my partner, Chief Jim McDonald from the Los Angeles Police Department.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning. In the wake of devastating fires, I want to acknowledge the incredible strength and resilience of our community as shown during this really difficult time. It's inspiring to see neighbors coming together to support one another. And I want to just assure everybody in the city of Los Angeles that the LAPD is fully committed to ensuring your safety and the well-being as we move forward. You've heard over from a couple of speakers now just the issues that are going on in the aftermath of the fires, where we have scammers actively targeting vulnerable individuals and families, exploiting their distress, and we have some warnings that you should check out on the web to be able to avoid some of this happening to you. These disasters often attract individuals seeking to take advantage of others, and certainly this fire, as big as it is, has been no exception. Scams targeting fire victims may begin to surface, whether in the form of fraudulent charity requests, as you heard, unscrupulous contractors, or phishing attempts that impersonate legitimate relief organizations. To anyone who may have been targeted by a scam, know that our investigators are here to help. We're dedicated to gathering evidence, addressing your concerns, and with the support of the District Attorney and the Attorney General, holding those who do these things accountable. If you have information about scams or suspect you've been a victim, don't hesitate to reach out to our department by calling 877-275-5273 or going to our website, which is www.lapdonline.org. For those looking to donate to fire victims, I urge you to do so with caution. Before contributing, take the time to thoroughly research the charity or organization you're considering. Reputable groups will have clear information about their mission and proven track records. Websites like Charity Navigator and the Better Business Bureau are excellent resources to try and verify legitimacy. It's also good practice to avoid cash donations wherever possible, opting instead for secure, traceable payment methods to ensure your contributions actually reach those who are in need. And if you come across fraudulent donation requests, please notify law enforcement so we can investigate. Together we can prevent further harm and protect the generosity of our community. In closing, I just want to reiterate that our department stands with you. We are here not only to ensure your safety, but to provide the support and resources needed to recover and to rebuild. Thank you for your resilience and cooperation during this very difficult time for all. I'd like to introduce now Senator Sasha Renee Perez. Senator.
Good morning, everyone. This has been a really tragic time for many in our community. I have family members that have had to evacuate, and I know there is so much uncertainty right now about what is going to happen next. As already has been said, we really want to make clear to folks this is not a safe time to return back to your homes. I understand many of you want to check to see if your home is okay. We are still dealing with a very active fire. We received an update earlier today about the Eaton Canyon fire. We're only at 15% containment. This is a very dangerous time. As was mentioned, there are down power lines. We have debris that is very dangerous everywhere, and we do not want folks to get sick. We don't want folks to endanger themselves. We need to allow our public safety officials and our public safety officers to clear the area to make sure we get this fire contained and ensure that things are safe. You know, I also want to reiterate what's been said already. Price gouging is illegal. Scamming is illegal. I mean, these are really things that shouldn't be said. We are dealing with residents that are going through their worst moment in their lives. They have lost everything. I am talking to folks at our evacuation centers where they only have the clothes on their backs. And so what we're asking for is for people to practice basic human decency. Put yourself in somebody else's shoe. That item that you think you can make a quick buck on, that is someone's personal belonging. That means everything to them. You know, and I just really want to make that clear that we are taking into account the fact that this is such a difficult time for so many. I also wanted to share out important information. I know many of you have been asking about insurance, navigating your insurance. We are going to be having an insurance workshop that is going to be happening in Pasadena. That's going to be on Saturday, January 25th and Sunday, January 26th at Pasadena City College at 10 a.m. Please reach out. You can schedule your appointment in advance at 1-800-927-4357. We want to make sure that folks are taking advantage of those resources. The Pasadena Evacuation Center is still at the Convention Center. If you need anything, you need prescriptions, you need emergency medication because you've lost that because your home has been burnt down, that is the location to go to. You know, there's plenty of resources available there. We know right now water is still not safe to drink in the impacted areas. If you need water, please visit the city of Pasadena. They are providing those resources as well. I know that this is a very intense time for so many, and just want to remind folks again, please, let's practice basic human decency here. Let's continue to look out for one another. I've seen so many in the community coming together and making sure that we are taking care of our other neighbors. That's what we need to be doing right now. And next up, I'd like to introduce Assemblymember Pilar Chavo.
Good morning. First and foremost, I really want to express my deep gratitude for our first responders, firefighters, sheriffs, police, and out-of-state partners who've been putting their lives on the line to ensure that our community is safe while fighting in hurricane-like wind conditions. A huge thank you to Attorney General Bonta, his team, and tireless efforts to make sure that families in these devastated fire areas are protected from exploitation and scamming during such a vulnerable time. And Sheriff Luna and Chief McDonnell for making sure that our safety is protected and enforced in these communities. Also, as the chair of the Military and Veterans Affairs Committee for the State Assembly, I wanted to express a special thank you to the Guard members who have been deployed to fight fires and keep our communities safe during this unprecedented time. I assure you that all levels of state level, local, and federal government will continue to provide you with the tools you need in this fire emergency and continue to collaborate and stand united. And I also, you know, to the residents of Los Angeles, of our communities, to my neighbors, to friends and family here, we know that your incredible resilience and willingness to help one another, including neighbors, families, friends, and even strangers in need. This is what we see when we see our communities coming together. It's a reminder of how resilient we are when we stand together, and that we will, in fact, recover, and we will come back even stronger. I've talked to evacuees in my community, and you can see in their faces the fear of the unknown, of what could be happening the fear of leaving their homes and all of their treasured belongings, and the fear of losing those. And now, on top of the fear of those possibly being lost in fires, people fear that they could possibly be looted or scammed. We are standing united today with a clear message that those who try to profit off others' pain and suffering, you will be caught, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Profiteering off people's pain during their most extreme time of need is disgusting, and it won't be tolerated. And just to say again, if you're thinking about looting, don't. The consequences are not worth it. And price gouging and scams are illegal, and we stand with the Attorney General and law enforcement ready to hold anyone accountable who attempts to profit from people's losses. As we've heard today, there's a number of scams that are out there, insurance, adjusters, people looking very official in the affected areas with, safety vests on and clipboards saying, if you put down a down payment right now, you can jump the line, we can start work right away, whether it's insurance companies or contractors, people pretending to be contractors. If anyone is asking for money up front, that is a huge red flag. Do not give people money on the spot. If you're getting texted for donations, that is a huge red flag. Go to official websites if you want to make donations. We're so grateful for the big hearts of people in our community and beyond who want to help and want to step up and be supportive. But do not do it because you receive a text or you see something on social media. We do not know that those can be trusted, and you should always go to official websites, double check phone numbers, websites against what you can see on official websites on the web. Our office continues to be here for our community to support you, any residents who are impacted by these fires. The last thing we want is for victims of this tragedy to be victims for a second time. Please reach out if we can help connect you with any resources to navigate the recovery process, unemployment claims, or any state agencies, and to address any immediate concerns. We are here ready to assist you. And if you do experience fraud, see fraud, or suspect fraud, please report it to law enforcement or to the Office of the Attorney General at oag.ca.gov/report. In times of crisis, we must stand together, and I want you to know that we are here for you every step of the way. Thank you again to the Attorney General. Together, we are going to continue to protect you from scams and price gouging. This historic tragedy is something that we will all come together and make sure that we can get through as a community so that we can focus at the work at hand. Stopping these fires and beginning to rebuild our community is our top priority, and that's what we want to continue to focus on. Thank you.
I just want to reiterate my thanks and gratitude to the incredible leaders up here who I'm honored to call colleagues who are working together in support of all those who are suffering and who are hurting right now in LA and LA County and beyond. I want to thank all those who are not here, leaders who are out in the field working hard right now, our first responders, our volunteers, our National Guard. This is a time to come together, be unified, work in unison. In the darkest and worst of times, you often see the best in people, and people step up and rise to the occasion and meet the moment. And I'm grateful that my colleagues are doing that. And the more of that we can have, the better off we will all be, looking out for each other, taking care of each other, giving generosity and grace and kindness, services and programs. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, we do see some exceptions to that, and that will not be tolerated. Price gouging is sick, it's wrong, it's illegal. These scams, taking advantage of victims and re-victimizing them, it's sick, it's wrong, it's illegal. So is looting. You will be held accountable. Support your fellow Californians. Don't victimize them and prey on them. So with that, happy to open it up to any questions that you might have. If you have a specific speaker you want to address your question to, please specify. But thank you again for being here.
Thank you very much. My question is either directed to the sheriff or Chief McDonald. Last night we had deputies come across looters in that area, and have you made arrests in regards to the new evacuation orders from last night?
Yeah, we had 5 arrests last night. I am not sure the exact location of those, but we are, as the fire moves, our borders move, and the curfew applies to all the fire zones, whether the warning zones or the orders to evacuate zones. So that'll probably continue to change as fire behavior does. So I can say that we had 5 last night. I know the sheriff had about 20 the night before. And so we are taking it serious, and we are out there. We responded to a number of looting-type calls. When we got there, to most of them, there was either nobody still there at the time, or it was something different than it appeared to be. But rest assured that it is being taken very serious, and that we will continue to work with our partners in doing this.
Necessarily follow up. Are you seeing that pattern? If you've seen new evac orders come down, are we seeing the quote-unquote bad guys, also doing that homework as well?
Yeah, it'd be anecdotal, but I can tell you that they're opportunists. So wherever the opportunity arises, they will transition to further victimize people who are now leaving their homes. That's predictable behavior in an event like this. Thank you. Sure.
Yep.
Besides people actually physically, looting, what's your process for not, shutting down online scams and text scams? What's your process? How do you take care of that?
Yeah, when it comes to the scams, the various types of scams that I mentioned, there's different types that all have different responses, all geared towards holding folks accountable, stopping the practice, and shutting down their operations. We've had processes where, in the past, where we've had a charity trying to scam folks, and we've taken action, gotten them shut down, pulled their website, and stopped the operations immediately. So we benefit most when people are able to report the suspicion of scams or price gouging to us. Then we follow up. We have a whole apparatus and set of resources and assets that we deploy to conduct a thorough investigation that's quick and efficient, and take action that's swift and decisive. So we need the reporting, but we take down the operation as soon as possible. One victim is too many. We definitely want to take down the operation before there are additional victims. Yes. Supervisor Horvath spoke to that already. In part, what they're hearing and seeing, I've got multiple communications from my colleagues in the legislature who have reached out with worry about the pricing that they're seeing in their hotels within their city, within their assembly district, within their Senate district. The experiences that their constituents are telling them as people who have been displaced or evacuated and are looking for housing and a rental, and how they're being price gouged. So we are getting lots of different anecdotes that add up to a picture we are not happy with and will not tolerate, with people who have been victimized being victimized again in contravention and in violation of the law against price gouging in California in the time of a natural disaster in a state of emergency. It's wrong. So anytime we hear about it, it's a time too many, but we're hearing it more frequently with respect to hotels and respect to rentals. And so, again, we're working very closely with the governor's office, who is very frustrated and angry, as I am, about this state of affairs. It's unacceptable, and we are putting together a set of actions. We will, of course, work with our police department, sheriff's department, the DA here in LA County, to take action and hold people accountable. It's a team effort. And I think we all agree this is absolutely unacceptable, and what we're seeing cannot continue and will not. Yes, please, Sheriff.
I mean, in the 3 questions asked, there is a key, and everyone touched on it, but I can't overemphasize it enough. The way we're going to be effective at catching somebody who is burglarizing, looting, really committing any crime within these impacted areas, which does include the gouging or any scam, is you need to bring it to our attention. You need to call us. I know last night I was dealing with individuals calling me saying, hey, I think somebody is in this area looting. And my thing was, dial 911. You are that voice. You are describing the vehicles, the people, what they're wearing, what direction they're going. And we have a lot of resources out there. I have hundreds of deputies in our impacted areas. I know the LAPD has hundreds of officers. We're out there, we're ready to respond, and sometimes when we see patterns and trends, we will redeploy units to those specific areas, or whether it's a new impacted area, wherever they are. We need your help, though. You are our eyes and ears. That's how we're going to be effective. I made a statement earlier that it's not only the Attorney General here, but the District Attorney and even the federal government. There are people coming to us saying, what can we do to help you? So everybody's here, everybody's united, and we want to make sure that we prevent people from committing these crimes. And when they do, I've made it clear, people are going to go to jail. Yeah, some people say, well, it's a nonviolent crime. It's a despicable crime, and you're going to go to jail. Bottom line, period, exclamation point.
No, it's for all fires in the region, yeah, and it'll be an ongoing investigation, and we're very confident that we have the best and the brightest that our nation has to offer working on this. Thank you.
Any other questions?